Hello, and thank you for taking the time to listen to my self-care and wellness webinar presentation. My name is Patrick Brady, and let's get started. So on the first slide, you'll see I have a couple quotes here. The first one is, it is so important to take time for yourself and find clarity. The most important relationship is the one you have with yourself, which is basically at the core of self-care. Self-care is basically being in the best possible relationship with yourself, taking care of yourself, getting clarity, understanding who you are, and meeting your needs. Another quote is, talk to yourself like you would someone you love. A big thing nowadays is there's so much going on, so much chaos. We're moving so fast as a society that it can often sometimes it's hard to just sit back and take the time to really realize the thoughts that are going on in your head, because you might be on autopilot, and you've seen those thoughts can definitely be toxic depending on the people you're surrounding yourself with, the old thought patterns. um, so yeah. And then finally, nurturing yourself is not selfish. It is essential to your survival and well-being. So one thing is that self-care may, to some, to other, self-care may come off as you being like standoffish, or thinking you're better, or deciding to not worry about others. But at the end of the day, for you to function at your best and live the best possible life you can live, self-care is the core. Making sure that you are good first, because you can't help anyone else when you are on E. Let's jump in. So what is self-care and wellness? Self-care and wellness is the ongoing process of engaging one's own wants and needs in a way that aligns with the individual's true nature and way of perceiving the world. Uh, so it's really self-care is different for it's not the same for everybody. So one person doing a 30-minute run can be uh, someone doing a 30-minute run can be the same self-care as another individual doing a 2-hour run. It doesn't matter exactly how you do it. You know what I'm saying? It's just as long as it aligns with you, wherever you are in your self-care, or wherever you are in your journey. Basic self-care includes, as we see here, I have a chart that's basically hitting the uh, different needs of human beings. And at the bottom is basically the physiological and safety needs, which are basic needs of all human beings. So I just wanted to like make that a just really, I mean, it depending on who you are, maybe you're a college student. You know what I'm saying, you might not necessarily think that you need to be reminded that, oh yeah, you need to drink enough water and enough sleep. But you'd be surprised, for some college students, they just forget to take care of themselves, and even adults, they could just neglect their basic needs. And honestly, you can focus on higher level needs, but when it comes to self-care, like, you want to start by taking care of your basic needs. You want to make sure that you're getting enough sleep, you're getting enough rest. You want to make sure that you have shelter, you have food. You want to make sure that you're not hanging around with people who just put you down, like who don't make you feel safe, who uh, just are toxic. You want to remember to keep the basics of self-care first and foremost. So get enough sleep, drink enough water, stay hydrated, and so make sure you're eating right. Don't sacrifice a healthy meal for um, for something that's nonsense. Um, so yeah, self the basics. Next, we have stress management. So nowadays, we're really busy in society. It's a lot of a lot of society, I would say, is pretty goal driven. So we just gotta go, 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 get things done, be perfect, be uh, the most efficient. So a lot of that can definitely add on stress, even if you have families, if you got a lot of schoolwork, if you financially stressed. It is it is very important to manage your stress, because if you're not aware and managing it, it can definitely affect your health. It can affect um, your your mental health. It could affect your physical health to where you're actually sick. You can't think as clear, and you can't process information as well. So you want to make sure uh, that you are practicing stress management when you on your when trying to cope and improve your self-care. So one way of practicing stress management is the start a stress journal. Write about what causes you stress. Write about how you feel about it, both physically and emotionally. Write about how you acted in response to the stress. And then write about what you did to make yourself feel better. This is a great way to gain awareness of the things that are really stressing you out. What is um, what are things that maybe that just you don't need anymore? And so maybe you're at a point in your life where you once needed to hang out with certain people's every day, certain people every day to reach a certain point, but now you've reached that point. So now the people aren't necessarily um, bringing you as much value, and they're stressing you out. You just outgrow people sometimes. Another way is to practice the 4 A's of stress management. Learning to say no. This is a huge one. If you try to be a people pleaser and don't know how to say no, you can find yourself in situations where you are overwhelmed, where you don't want to be in, where you're mad and frustrated at yourself. So it's just adding a lot more stress than if you just said no at the very beginning when um, someone asked you to do something. Say they asked you to hang out and go grab lunch when you know that the person ain't good. The person who asked you to grab lunch is not going to help you when it comes to your self-help. They're just going to talk about toxic things. They're going to do immature things that doesn't help you find peace or growth in any way. So just learn to say no. Learning to say no can be a huge start on reducing stress. Avoid people who stress you out. Take control of your environment and par down your to-do list. Those to-do lists can be extraordinary nowadays with everything from the sun and back. Make sure that if it's too much, because doing too much can definitely be counterproductive. Chunk it down to the most important things on that day, maybe a few tasks, and make sure you're getting the most important things done. You do not have to do everything. I know we want to be Superman, Superwoman nowadays, but self-care is caring for yourself and knowing when you're stretching yourself too thin and when it's going to cause you more damage than good by doing everything. And finally, learn to relieve stress in the moment. This is a huge one. I actually just learned about this doing this project. So learning to relieve stress in the moment. So one was taking a deep breath and using senses. Another was viewing a favorite photo. Another one, smelling a specific scent, listening to a favorite piece of music, tasting a piece of gum, or hugging a pet. One of those that I actually do is listening to a favorite piece of music. When I'm stressed out in the moment, I'm just got too much going on. I take a step back, take a couple deep breaths, go hop in my car and go for a drive. And in that drive, I usually put on some good house music, some good old R&B music that I can just jam out to and lose, you know what I'm saying, and be present, just be in the moment, just having fun, good time. I'm breathing, I'm having the windows down, I'm taking care of my own needs in those moments versus maybe I got mad at my mom or dad because they told me that I have to start paying my phone bill, which is it could be stressful. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you don't have the funds to pay for the phone bill right now, and you don't know how you're gonna do it. So it could be like, wow, you're gonna really do this to me? No, you didn't let me know in advance. So in that moment, go for a drive, focus on my breathing, listen to the music, and that right there can be a stress reliever in the moment. Just boom. Um, Next we have All right, so along your self-care and wellness journey, I want you to know that everyone is different and can or will be at different stages in their self-care journey. One thing that you need to know about self-care and wellness is that the process is never ending. You can do self-care for 1 day or 2 days. You might feel a little better, but it's not going to last. You're not going to feel as good from that same activity as you in the next 10, 15 days, 20 days, 30 days. You have to keep working on this. You got to keep learning about yourself, taking care of yourself, surrounding yourself with good people, eating right, sleeping right, and you will notice the benefits as you go. It's a never-ending journey. The best results will be seen once a commitment has been made, as in when you can't just when you first start taking care of yourself, it may seem like a chore. It may seem like, wow, going to the gym, I don't really want to do this. I don't have the energy. I don't feel like it. It's too much work. And you might get out the gym and be like, wow, I don't see any results. However, if you commit and you keep doing it over time, the results will come. You will start to see that, wow, you're starting to reap the benefits of working out every day, reducing your mind, maybe escaping from something. Gym is a great example when it comes to you have to make a commitment to see the best results. And finally, explore different self-care activities. As time changes, so will your self-care routine. Something you did today is maybe your self-care routine includes you singing. But this is to say that next year, maybe you won't be able to sing. Maybe there's a couple times a year when you lose your voice. So, and your voice is gone for like a week or two at a time. In those moments, you're not going to just not use self-care. You got to be adaptable. Maybe after you lose your voice, you start practicing. You start practicing a musical instrument. In that sense, you have to be flexible with your self-care routine. Everything what works today might not always work tomorrow. Sexual health, self-care, and wellness. For my college students, it's a time when your parents aren't, you have some more freedom than you probably ever experienced before. And you know, saying college students like to engage in sexual intercourse and sexual activities. Not all, but for those of you who do, this is just some tips for wellness to help you out so you don't find yourself in situations that are detrimental to your health, um, that make so you can't sleep at night. A couple of these things are um, don't delay doctor's visits if you find out that if you had unprotected sex one day, and in a couple of days you start getting symptoms or you start stuff isn't the same around genitals. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you go get, you know what I'm saying, you go see a doctor for professional help. Don't wait, because the faster you get professional help, the faster you can get back to caring about yourself. And don't think, oh, you know what I'm saying, I don't need this because it'll go away in time if I just ignore it long enough, or um, I'm too embarrassed. It's okay. It happens. We learn as we go. Don't delay doctor's visits. Also, I'm saying making sure you're washing your genitals every day and grooming. You just feel better. It's a way of caring for your body that it carries over. So grooming. Next we have conflict resolution. Here I have a video of it's a TED Talk going over some conflict resolution. I do not have, I cannot pull up the video, so take a look at that. It's very insightful and it's very simple. It's simple things you can do, such as I know the speaker talks about just making sure when you're trying to resolve conflict, you have good energy. You don't want to try to resolve conflict when the emotions are high, like when you're very frustrated and aggravated and you can't think, or you can't listen to the other person speak. You can only think one-sided. So you want to make sure you have good energy or positive energy going into the conflict. Next we have, so now I'm gonna tell you about some of my own personal self-care routines. And I got a quote here that says, you can't pour from an empty cup. Take care of yourself first. Let me repeat, taking care of yourself first is not selfish. Self-care is not selfish. If you are empty, if you have nothing more. You know what I'm saying? You need help. You need to focus on yourself. People will understand. Your family will understand. Your friends will understand. It's okay, because it's about the journey. It's not about like, it's not all about like right now. You know what I'm saying? Let me um, give everything I got right now. It's honestly a journey. This is a journey. So one thing I do when I'm aggravated, actually irritated or aggravated, I like to partake in alone time, me time. I personally need me time in order to be able to emotionally, spiritually, mentally regulate. This is good for me because I believe that I know myself pretty well, and I know when I am frustrated and aggravated, I can't. It's I'm not as excited to engage with others. I know how to refuel my batteries in a sense. I know that if I focus on me for the day, try to understand why I'm aggravated, make sure I'm then again doing my basic self-care, eating properly, getting enough sleep, drinking enough fluids, um, um, have enough clothing. I'm sorry, like when I go home, I have organized space. And then I know that I will be okay. I know that I can regulate. So spending time alone is not bad. You can sometimes I don't answer my friends when they send me text messages because I personally can't respond. I can't respond. It's just I choose not to respond because I'm focused on me. I don't have mental energy to give to you right now. At this moment, I'm working on myself. I'm regulating. And another one's even when I get phone calls. Um, I might not always answer because I'm busy. When I need to recharge, it's sacred time. It's time for me to be with myself, to be with my higher power, to really bring back my homeostasis. And is something that um, this is something that's very helpful when you know how you best regulate, or you know how you best handle stress, taking some alone time. Another one is when I have ample amounts of energy. I usually go to the gym, because when I go to the gym, I make sure I really get great workouts in. So I'm lifting heavy weights, I'm running 2 miles, I'm doing ab workouts, I'm stretching. And this is like all to burn off that excess energy. And also, it's another way of reducing stress. So, um, when I have too much energy, but I'm still stressed, going to the gym is a great way to bring me back down. And another one is when I'm feeling depressed or sad, and I'm feeling lonely, I will go to church. Going to church or also going to Narcotics Anonymous meetings. Both of these places are great places to gain connection with other like-minded individuals. Go When I'm at church, I feel one thing at church is I feel safe. I feel safe and I feel peace. And those are two things that are they're not easy to find. They're not easy to find. So when you know what brings you a sense of safety, a sense of security and peace, make sure you engage in those, because um, that's good. That is good. Connecting with others, getting being in a safe place of feeling safe and being at one uh, with yourself and with a higher power is very good to your well-being. Um, in Narcotics Anonymous meetings. And then when I'm bored, I like to scroll through social media, watch sports, watch dramatic and fighting anime shows. This is just me. This is personal. I love watching football. So when I'm bored, if there's a good football game on, I'm gonna sit there and I'm just gonna do nothing. I'm gonna do nothing. I'm gonna watch football and I'm gonna do nothing. And that in itself is self-care. And partake in something that you enjoy. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to be up and moving. Just, relax, sit back, enjoy the show. Make sure you're watching something that um, brings you wellness and well-being. If you like scary stuff and that brings you wellness, put on a good horror movie. If you like comedies and that brings you wellness, make sure you put on a comedy. Don't put on something that it doesn't interest you and that you don't want to watch. Take care of yourself, know what you want. Next, achieving a state of flow with self-care. All right, the best thing I could tell you about this is once you get into your self-care routine, it is the best time. The best times I've experienced in my life is when I have been in flow with my self-care. The best times I've had is when I've been personally, like when it comes to my diet. There was a time when I wasn't taking good care of my health, so I had a health scare. So I started, in response, I started watching what I ate. I started going to the gym more. I started sleeping better. I started making sure I was focused on my health. And this, like over time, it got so good to where I loved going to the gym. Like when I was at the gym, it was like I was in heaven. It's like I didn't, it was exhilarating. Um, it was easy. It wasn't like, it didn't require like all this. I didn't feel drained. I felt good afterwards, even though I just worked out for 2 hours. Like I was focused. Just it's just a great experience. So whether you get that when singing or playing an instrument or doing a face mask or watching TV, make sure you find things that make it that bring you complete absorption, focus, and involved in activities at a certain point in time that derive enjoyment from being engaged in that activity. Being in a state of flow, doing what you love, is very helpful for your wellness because that is not the homeostasis, that is not the normal um, uh, flow of life. You don't always, you're not always in a state of flow. And then finally, I got global wellness and economy just to show that the health and wellness, self-care and wellness are huge. So I don't want you to think, oh, it's, you know what I'm saying? Some people may think that, oh, self-care, taking care of yourself, that's some stereotypical things might be, oh, that's for women. You know what I'm saying? Because women are more likely to engage in such things as like taking care of their skin or wearing makeup or putting on fancy lotions. Um, Also, yeah, there's no gender for self-care. Self-care is universal. All, human beings need self-care. You know what I'm saying? You might say um, that like I don't think it's important. Um, it's a $4.5 trillion market and it's just growing. People are learning that taking care of themselves goes a long way. And now that we're living longer than ever, you want to make sure you take care of your body, and your body and wellness are more than just the physical and emotional. There's a lot to it. Um, so, and then just know that it doesn't have to be expensive. You don't have to spend like $1,000 when trying to have a self-care night. You can honestly, if you don't have an in-home gym, you can just go for a run outside. It's self-care. You don't need the most expensive all natural water. You could drinking out of the water fountain is fine. The nicest name brand clothes, they're nice to have, but you don't need it. Walmart brand clothes, no name brand clothes that still fit, they make you, you know what I'm saying, they keep you warm. That's self-care. Like make sure you're taking care of those your small needs. Um, and then you don't need the best health insurance. Generic medication is better than no medication. And then you can use all these. All these is great. I know Whole Foods and Trader Joe's might be preferred. If they're more expensive, you got to make sure you live within your means and know that at the end of the day, if you practice self-care with getting, you know, making the right choices at all these, you will eventually be able to work your way up. But it starts with self-care now, so you can build onto it and have a greater self-care lifestyle. Questions, comments, concerns? Thank you.